Wife prepares surprise for military man. I still remember the day I left home. The silence in the room felt heavier than anything I had ever carried before, heavier than my gear, heavier than my responsibilities, heavier than the fear I never showed. She stood there at the door, my wife, trying to be strong, but I could see it in her eyes. The fear, the love, the uncertainty. She smiled, but her hands were shaking, and when I hugged her, she held on just a little longer than usual, like she didn't want to let go. "Come back safe," she whispered, and I nodded, even though deep down I knew nothing was ever guaranteed. Being in the military isn't just a job. It's a promise. A sacrifice. A life where you leave behind everything you love to protect people you may never even meet. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and out there, time felt different. You stop counting days and start counting moments. Moments of silence, moments of danger, moments where you just hope you'll make it back home. But no matter how far I was, she was always with me. In my thoughts, in my heart, in every quiet night when the world felt too loud. She would send me messages, simple ones, but they meant everything. "I miss you. I'm proud of you. I'm waiting for you." Those words gave me strength in ways nothing else ever could. They reminded me that no matter how dark things got, there was always a light waiting for me somewhere far away. But what I didn't know was that back home, she was doing more than just waiting. She was preparing something I never expected, something that would stay with me for the rest of my life. Back home, she lived alone in the house we had built together. Every corner of that house held memories of us, our laughter, our late-night talks, our small arguments that always ended in smiles. Without me, the house felt empty, but she refused to let that emptiness consume her. Instead of breaking down, she turned her loneliness into purpose. Every single day, she prepared for my return. Not because she knew when I would come back, but because she believed that I would. She started with the little things. She repainted the walls, choosing the colors we once debated about for hours. She fixed the broken shelf I had promised to repair months ago. She cleaned every corner, not out of routine, but out of love. She wanted everything to be perfect for the day I returned. But her efforts didn't stop there. She wanted to give me something more, something deeper than just a clean home or a warm meal. So she started writing letters. One every single day. At first, it was just a way to express her feelings. Things she couldn't always say over messages or calls. But as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, those letters became something much bigger. They became her voice, her strength, her way of holding on to me even when I was miles away. Each letter carried a piece of her heart. Some were filled with simple updates about her day. Some were filled with memories of us. Some were filled with dreams about our future. And some were filled with tears she never showed anyone. She wrote about the days she felt strong and the nights she felt weak. She wrote about missing my voice, my presence, even the small things like my footsteps in the house or the way I used to leave my shoes by the door. She wrote about cooking my favorite meals and realizing they didn't taste the same without me. She wrote about sitting alone and imagining me sitting beside her. And every night, before she went to sleep, she added one more letter to the box and whispered softly, "Come back to me." Months later, the day finally came. The mission was over, and I was going home. Sitting in the transport, I stared out the window, trying to process everything. After all the uncertainty, the danger, the distance, I was finally going back to her. My heart was racing, not from fear, but from anticipation. I thought about her smile, her voice, the way she looked at me. I thought about everything I had missed and everything I was about to feel again. When I reached home, I decided not to tell her. I wanted to surprise her, to see her reaction in its purest form. I walked slowly toward the door, each step feeling heavier than the last, not from exhaustion, but from emotion. I stood there for a moment, staring at the door, remembering the last time I had seen her standing there. My hand paused before knocking, as if time itself had stopped for a second. Then I knocked. The door opened, and there she was. For a moment, she didn't move. She just stood there, looking at me, as if her mind was trying to catch up with reality. Her eyes filled with tears, her lips trembled, and then suddenly, she ran into my arms. She held me tighter than ever before, as if she was afraid I might disappear again. I held her back just as tightly, feeling everything I had been holding inside finally come out. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the past, not the distance, not the pain. Just us. Then she smiled through her tears and said, "I have something for you." She took my hand and told me to close my eyes. I trusted her and followed her inside. When she told me to open them, I was speechless. The house looked different. It felt warmer, brighter, more alive. Every corner reflected her effort, her care, her love. Photos of us were placed beautifully, small details I never noticed before were now impossible to ignore. It wasn't just a house anymore. It was a story. Then she brought out the box. I looked at it, confused, and she simply said, "Open it." As I lifted the lid, I saw hundreds of letters neatly arranged. My hands started shaking as I picked one. I opened it and began to read. Day 12 without you. I tried to stay strong today, but I missed you more than usual. I picked another. Day 47. I saw something today that reminded me of you, and I couldn't stop smiling. Another. Day 103. I had a bad day, but thinking about you made it better. I kept reading, one after another, each letter pulling me deeper into her world, into her emotions, into her silent strength. I could feel her loneliness, her hope, her love in every word. Tears filled my eyes as I realized what she had done, not just for me, but for us. She hadn't just waited for me. She had loved me every single day, even in my absence. I looked at her, and in that moment, I understood something I had never fully understood before. She wasn't just my wife. She was my strength, my support, my home. While I was out there fighting my battles, she was here fighting hers, silently, patiently, bravely. That night, we sat together going through the letters, laughing at some, crying at others, reliving moments we had missed. And I realized something that changed me forever. People often talk about the sacrifices soldiers make, but they forget about the ones who wait for them. The ones who stay behind, who wake up every day not knowing what news they might receive, who carry fear in their hearts but still choose love. She wasn't on the battlefield, but she was a warrior in her own way. Love like that is rare. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to be loud to be real. It exists quietly, deeply, and powerfully. It shows itself in patience, in consistency, in the small things that most people overlook. I went out there believing I was protecting something bigger than myself, but when I came back, I realized that the most important thing I had was right here all along. She had protected my heart. In ways I never even realized. That box of letters is still with me. I read them sometimes, not because I miss her, but because they remind me of what real love looks like. Not perfect, not easy, but honest, strong, and unbreakable. If you're watching this and you have someone who waits for you, who believes in you, who stands by you even when things get hard, don't take them for granted. Because real love isn't about being there when it's easy. It's about staying when it's not. It's about choosing each other every single day, no matter the distance, no matter the struggle. And when you find that kind of love, hold on to it, protect it, and never let it go, because not everyone gets to experience something that real.